A 15-year-old was shot and sent to the hospital last night. It happened around 10:45 in the parking lot of the Home Depot near the 100 Oaks Mall on Powell Avenue. Detectives on the scene said they got conflicting stories from witnesses. The teenager suffered a gunshot wound to the foot. Police have not released whether they have a motive or suspects yet. And an attempted robbery sent a man to the hospital last night. Metro Police say around 10:45, the man was closing up Latino's Market on Thompson Place out near the airport when a man with a gun tried to rob him. During a struggle, the gun went off and hit the employee's leg. The gunman fired off several more rounds and then fled the scene. He didn't get away with any money, and he hasn't been found yet. The employee is expected to survive. During a traffic stop last night, officers found a handgun that had been stolen from the Metro Police Department. News Channel 5's Matthew Torres is at the Criminal Justice Center this morning with more. Matthew, any idea how he wound up with the officer's gun?
Well, Jennifer, that remains to be the biggest mystery this morning as to why the man had the gun in the first place, again, which belonged to the Metro Nashville Police Department. Take a look at the mugshots. This is D'Angelo Galladay and Ricky Brown. Police officers said they pulled them over after they spotted Brown not wearing a seatbelt. Now, this happened in Germantown on Arthur and Garfield Street early last night. Police said they smelled marijuana from the car, which prompted them to search the car. They found digital scales in the pockets, 32 grams of marijuana, a loaded magazine, and a Glock 2340 caliber semi-automatic handgun inside the vehicle. Now, it is that handgun which shows the seriousness of the arrest, because upon searching the records, it pulled up as a stolen backup weapon, again, from the Metro Nashville Police Department. Now, I did some checking as to see if they were connected with the department, and I checked with the arrest reports with Metro Booking. It showed both men are unemployed at the time. They are still in jail this morning, facing several charges, including felony possession of a weapon and having drugs near a school zone. We are reporting live from the Criminal Justice Center this morning. I'm Matthew Torres, News Channel 5 HD.
A pedestrian was killed after being hit by a car in North Nashville last night. Around 9 last night, police say a driver in an SUV hit the pedestrian in a crosswalk on Garfield Street at 9th Avenue North. The victim has not been identified yet, and police say the driver did not appear to be intoxicated. More than 2,000 people were without power this morning after a car crashed into a pole in the River Trace area just north of Briley Parkway near Madison. Police were called to Lock 2 Road at Pennington Bend Road this morning around 2:30. We're told that speed was a factor as the driver lost control while trying to make a turn in the road. You can see the pole split in half after it was hit. The driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Take a look at these pictures of a house fire in Old Hickory last night. They were taken by a viewer on Cascade Drive around 7 o'clock. Crews say the fire started in the chimney and then spread to the attic. One person was inside at the time and managed to make it out okay. It was a case that changed Nashville forever. The murder of 9-year-old Marcia Trimble. If Marcia had lived, yesterday would have been her 50th birthday. Trimble was killed while delivering Girl Scout cookies in Green Hills back in 1975. The case went unsolved for more than 30 years until a police database matched Jerome Barrett's DNA with DNA found on Trimble. Barrett was back in court this month asking for a new trial because he says jurors didn't hear all the information. Judge Steve Dozier has said he will make a ruling soon. Music City has spent the last week celebrating music and the people who make it.
You say you'll never love me, then you put its arms around me.
The Tin Pan South Songwriters Festival wrapped up last night. Many of the songs sung by popular artists like Tim McGraw and Carrie Underwood were heard around town, performed by the talented songwriters who wrote the hits. We caught up with some of them at the Hard Rock Cafe last night.
Nashville's an amazing place because a lot of the fans come to actually hear the songwriters do the songs. There's a connection a songwriter has to a song, which is really, really important. So I think for them it's a big treat to be able to come hear the actual songwriter perform the song.
The money fans paid for admission to the Tin Pan South shows went to the songwriters to help keep the music flowing. Earlier this month, we gave you a look inside a home that hadn't been opened in 50 years. And yesterday, some of the pieces of history discovered in the house were sold to the highest bidders. All the items came from the home that had belonged to Linville resident Mark Thurman, who died last year. After his death, his family decided to put them up for auction. Yesterday, hundreds showed up to bid on the priceless items.
I love it. I love it. I really like the quilts. I think the quilts are going to be something that I would be interested in.
The money raised will go to Thurman's family. His property and the homes on it were not for sale. A roller derby and a library, maybe more alike than you think. The Nashville Roller Girls kicked off their 2015 season yesterday by announcing a partnership with the Nashville Library. Before yesterday's match, the library helped sign people up for library cards and entertained kids with crafts and temporary tattoos. The library's reading theme this summer will be Heroes, and the Roller Girls will be reading challenge heroes all summer long to help keep kids reading.